Hello, Jim Howard here in Fort Worth, Texas. This video may look a little different, maybe sound a little different, I don't know. I'm going to go ahead and make the video. I was going to make a short little video. I don't know that much about it, but I just wanted to mention it to you because, well, I think you could tell if you've seen them. I'm interested in eating. Who isn't, you know? Anyway, there's a meatless foods coming. And the first one is, I guess, it's because it's been approved here in the United States. And it's going to be chicken. And so there'll be no chickens in it. I mean, it's going to be, I'm not sure how they do it. Do they use a few cells someplace to generate? I'm not sure exactly how it works. I don't think we'll find out either, because if you want to find out, you can, I'll put some links, a few, but if you find some that are better than what I put, you can feel free to comment below, and you can put a link there, to it. But anyway, this is the camera that I have been using. It's an excellent camera. So anyway, I looked up a little bit, not much. I thought we'd kind of look it up together on meatless meat. Or anyway, chicken not made from chicken. And boom, I got a warning that, a warning that I couldn't make that the cameras were not, like the camera that was hooked up, this one here, was already being used. Well, it wasn't being used. So I went through checking to see what I could find on that. Nothing. Couldn't find anything. So anyway, I ended up disconnecting this excellent camera, although the one here, I'm using from China, something that's really, really, really cheap. I forget how much, maybe 20 bucks, I'm guessing. I've got a handful of of different models of, laying over there. And so when I disconnected this one and hooked up this camera, then my stuff is working here. By the way, use the link above, please. I'm going to be mentioning this for a while. I'm going to be mentioning this to you guys until a whole bunch of you sign up. And well, it's not signing up. You just go to that link, and then you're at Amazon, and then please purchase a whole bunch of terribly expensive stuff, because I will get a commission. And I think probably all of the YouTubers, are signed up for, making money from Amazon when you purchase something that they recommend or whatever. So, anyway, I won't overdo it, but I've been having such a time. I was having a problem with the audio from my B-Link microcomputer for actually years. But sometimes I've solved the problem. And so it looks like that I had solved the problem here. I made, I think, 7 or more videos in a row, and the, audio was okay. A few times there was out of sync a little bit, but it looks like I sort of took care of that. And then today, boom, this problem. So anyway, it got corrected right away, hopefully. On another subject, I've got my medicine things here to be filled up for a week or so. and I'm out of, totally out of two of my medicines, and I've been out for, I think, about a month. I do not know what's going, I sort of mentioned this, I think, the other day. I do not know what in the world is going on with Walgreens pharmacy. They have a site, you can log in, which I prefer to do. Log in. The medicines are listed there. I can click, and, well, I could click, and then they would fill the prescription, and then I could either pick it up or I would click. Well, in the beginning, then I would click for them to deliver it, and sometimes it didn't get delivered. But what's happened recently is, I run out first of one of these medicines, and I go there and I click on the thing, and I get a notice that it's been whatever approved or something, and I don't get it. And now I can log in also to, and this has been I start to worry after when there's like two medicines, one medicine. In fact, a lot of my medicines, I totally forget to take it. I'll be doing something like this, or I end up taking, the morning medicine at, 9 p.m. at night or something. And then at 4 or 5 a.m. the next day, I take the, the evening medicine, like from the day before or whatever. But I don't worry too much about that. But now when I'm getting down to where I have two medicines that I have not been taking for probably a month. Well, when I logged into the doctor's site, where I can go and I can click, to fill those prescriptions for me. Instead of going to the pharmacy, I can just go to the doctor's site, click on it. When I go there now, it won't allow me to click on those. It'll come back with some kind of a message. I forget what it says. I think I wrote it down. No, I didn't. Well, I wrote it down someplace, but. And I think the reason is that the doctor actually did send the prescription, and I think that as I mentioned before in another video earlier, I think that maybe Walgreens and maybe other pharmacies are now using Amazon pharmacy. You still know if you go to their, pharmacy, if you go to, they're, 2 blocks from here for us. If I go down there, or if I tell them to, and they have it there on the shelf, and they'll fill the prescription and it'll be there and whatever. But I think what's happening now is, I'm saying, send me the prescription, and I think they're having I think they're having Amazon send it, because all of my prescriptions from, this is the way they've looked for, Walgreens, for a long time. That's the way they look. Now, this is the way they look. No Walgreens name. And so something is going on, and I can't figure it out. Okay. I don't have any trouble getting metformin. That's for pain from arthritis or other. It works for other things too. Heck, really well. Now, of course, the reason I have so much of it is, they give me a prescription and 180, for 3 months of supply, and I don't take it. It says, take it twice a day, and I just take it when I need it. But it's really kind of funny. I forget what this stuff is. It's something you can also get over the counter without a prescription. So this is 100 milligrams. No, 500 milligrams. Wait a minute, never mind, this is the wrong one. This metformin is for, diabetes twice a day. Okay. Okay, okay, there's the diabetes one. Let's see. Naproxen, okay, here it is, okay. Okay, then naproxen. Okay, I better not move these around. I'll forget which ones I need to fill. I should do that. Shouldn't have done that first. I should. Okay, then naproxen is 500 milligrams. Now I forget what this is this is something that has a generic name and like Tylenol or something like that. And you can go in to the pharmacy or grocery store or someplace, and you can buy, Tylenol without a prescription and whatever this product, I forget the name of its generic name. But you can't, this is 500 milligrams, so you have to have a prescription to get the 500 milligrams. Now I forget what the numbers are, but you can go in and, let's say, I'm just making this because I don't know what the exact number is, but you can go in and buy whatever the generic name for this medicine here. Let's say it's 250 milligrams. You can go and you can buy it. You do not need a prescription. So you could take 2 of them, boom. Same as the prescription, You could take 3 of them. You could take 4 of them. Don't do those kind of things, but yeah. So, but naproxen does work for me, and it works for my ex-wife or whatever. Anyway. I've changed my mind. I'm not going. This is a plant chicken, by the way. This is not what I was talking about. That is coming. This is already here, and I guess some other products like it. I'll try to find out some more about this meatless products that are. I just told my son a few minutes ago, he was in here, grown son, and he says, I'm not going to eat it. And I'm not sure if I will, either. But I guess it would come down to, price of food has been going up, and that might be a deciding factor. We do like chicken, and but then also the others are coming, the beef and all that type of stuff. My son said, that I forget which one. He didn't say McDonald's, but let's say McDonald's, because I forget what he did say. He said, well, McDonald's will be carrying it. I said, no, they'll be all these fast food places, they'll be the last one to be using, meatless hamburgers and stuff like that, because there's going to be a few people who don't want the product, because a lot of those people are going to be, unfortunately, here in the United States, the people who are opposed, don't believe science, right-wing Republicans. people from Mississippi and Alabama and Texas and places like that. And you don't want to lose those, you don't want to lose those customers. It's unfortunate politically that the situation has evolved the way that it has. Because for a democracy really, to work, we need informed, voters. I think in the beginning here in the United States, you had to be a landowner, to be able to vote. And of course, women couldn't vote. And of course, blacks, enslaved blacks couldn't vote. And then as things progressed, like in the South after the Civil War, the various states, the former Confederate states, put things like poll taxes into effect, and poll tax would be where, the poor black people, if they wanted to vote, they had to pay a certain amount of money, and it was more than they could really afford, afford to pay. But then there was also they came up with a test, to give. So if a white person, went to vote, they just check him off. Oh yeah, you did fine with the Socrates and the Plato's theories or whatever. You did really good at that. And then black person comes in. Well, they'd have been colored. The colored person comes in. Sorry, and the colored person might have been able to say, I have a high school education. No, you flunked the test, I've got a bachelor's degree. Sorry, you flunked the test. Of course, some farmer down the road, that he knows his land and he knows his animals and he knows maybe the weather, but he doesn't know anything else. And they passed. Stuff like that. And now at a time with the high tech and everything going on, we've got people who really, they don't trust science, they don't trust the government, and then two, an awful lot of people in the United States trust some preacher, who gets up and no matter what he says, well, he's a preacher, God talks to him. They've even had, preachers who, tell their parishioners, hey, God told me this, or the guy that had the hospital and had the college, a Protestant minister, and he did several things. I remember one that quite a while back, probably before you were born, he told the American people, that God said that he was going to die, that the preacher was going to die unless people gave him, and I forget what it was, $2 million or $5 million or something. I think that might have been the one that was in order to buy a expensive jet aircraft, to fly him around. And he already had an expensive jet aircraft, but he wanted another one, a second one, that would only be used for, missionary stuff. And then it came out that it was flying, I think, to South Africa and picking up gold or something at a low price or something, and then, it was just, that stuff just goes on and on. Here in the United States, churches, they're not charged income tax, provided that they, don't do any political preaching or anything from their pulpit. And of course they do. And if the Internal Revenue Service, our tax service, if they did try to, rescind the some church, one that was really fragrant, it was really clearly doing that, which they are. I think the Internal Revenue Service would be afraid, and I don't think the Justice Department and whoever got involved in it would not want to get, that'd be what they call like the third rail, supposedly politicians have said when it comes to Social Security and Medicare, that's the third rail, meaning the third rail on trains that run off electricity, the third rail, that if you touch that rail, it will electrocute you. And so we really have problems here in the United States, but it looks like there's a trend towards this worldwide, in other countries that we wouldn't expect to see it. I kind of expect to see this kind of stuff in Texas. I forget the last time I checked. The last time I checked, the state of Texas had, out of 50, Texas was 50, had the worst statistics on graduating high school, of all 50 states. Maybe they're at 49, now. But, I mean, that's... And, with everything that's been going on with virus and all that type of stuff, people saying, you've got politicians, people in the House, people in the Senate, who not only do they object now to, the virus vaccine, but they want to do away with having, kids having to get a polio vaccine, or the others, all the others that are that you have to get before you go to school. Except in some states, if you have a religious objection, well, okay, they have a religious objection, so they don't have to, do it. I forget what state it was in. I think it was in Texas, I believe, that there was a Protestant church off sort of in a community sort of by itself. A lot of people around there, and then all of a sudden the CDC, Center for Disease Control and everything, what in the hell is going on? And I think it was, what was it? Measles or something was flourishing there, and it turns out that the pastor of that church was preaching that, God didn't want people to get that vaccine, and then of course it was spreading, and then it was spreading to other areas because of, so I don't know what the solution is. I think I know what the problem is, but I don't know what the solution is. I haven't, changing the subject, I haven't returned the computer that I bought the other day. And one reason I haven't sent it back is I haven't had a printer hooked up for a long time. I've had more problems with printers. Everything else I hook up. Printers should be just, you plug the cable in and that ought to be it. But no, you have to go through. If you happen to know of a printer, by the way, that you can just plug into, like say a Windows computer, and it just finds it and works without me having to go and I think this printer that I have here now, it faxes, it does all kinds of things, and so it's a pain in the butt. But I need it because now Amazon, when I return things to Amazon, they come and pick it up right away. I think if it's FedEx that comes to pick it up, I believe FedEx, I don't even have to print it. I don't even have to put a label on it. The driver comes with a thing printed out, and he comes to the door. I give him the package, and he puts it on there. Then as he's driving out or driving down the street, he scans it, and there's a lot of times I've gotten my refund immediately, or I got it later at night. I guess when it goes to the, their center there or whatever. it gets scanned or something. So now, not all the time, but sometimes. But so anyway, I don't want to contact them yet. I want to get my printer working in case I have to print it out. And it won't be a problem if I can get my printer to work. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Oh, please use the link. Please use the link. What am I going to do? Oh, press the stop recording.